Now, as far as I understand it, you get up into the alpine and you get into these white pine. The needles are quite different than even on stunted jack pine. But that's to do your own research. Anyways, the cones, this is where pine nuts come from. So First Nations would go up like in the potato mountains and dig the potatoes, make big roasting pits for the potatoes, and roast the pine nuts at the same time. And up in the alpine, the trees are smaller, so you're hoping that you can find, or you can reach the cones. This is the first cone I've seen, but I've only been here 5 minutes. Hiking about 7 hours up into this valley today. Gonna spend 4 days up in there. It's this old guy built some old cabin a million years ago. It's still standing. I was through there last year. I'm gonna fix it up and stay in there. Let's make an addendum to that white pine nut harvest. I'll first add that there's still snow up here, and I haven't even got to the alpine. Well, I'm just in it. But to second it, you can see there's some wildfires burning in the back. But to second it, there's no cones, man. Cones are all gone. Cones have been taken by squirrels. So we're gonna have to raid a squirrel cache. But I'm gonna speculate, this is my first time doing this, that those squirrels are eating those pine nuts as fast as they can get them and stripping those trees, and they won't start storing them till I don't know, September or something. So for the winter. So I'm thinking you got to be up here fighting it out with the squirrels. Let's see if I can show you the fires. Just coming up into the alpine. I'd take a shotgun. I mean, there's grizzlies and stuff, but when you have a little dog, coyote already tried to get the dog this morning at the cabin. So I have no intention of hunting anything but a fish with my fishing pole. Scrap it out with the squirrels. So starting to see quite a few of these red tops. Well, of course they just look like brown tops, but fairly high up here in the alpine. Excuse me, I've been breathing in smoky air with the forest fires out here. It's nice to have some clean air. I've never been able to time this spot just right. Like at the tree line. You know, I come up in August or September and I'm too late. Come in July, I'm too early. It's the 17th, 18th of July, 2021. There's still some snow up here, so I know it's hotter in many places this year than ever. But up here it's been a bit cooler. So I'm gonna say late July is the window for up here. Would you agree, Finnegan? Hey, would you agree? Let's go get them. Whatever there is to get. Okay, it's gonna be windy. We're going over there. There's the lake we're gonna fish. Here's the dog we hopefully don't have to eat. Hey Finn, you're having such a good time. Yes, you are. No human footprint has been here in a long time, if ever. Now that lake is stocked with fish, so it should be okay. It's down a lot lower. The cabin, or what's left of it, is down in there somewhere. And this lake's a lot higher, but unlikely for fish, but I'm not a fisherman. I'm gonna just, I think I swam in here once, a long time ago. That brings back really warm feelings of my mom and pa, mother and father being up here, because they did their ski tour guiding and they brought us up here on horses in the summer. You know, memories are funny. I don't think I have swam here. I think I've seen a picture of my mom sitting by this lake. And I know I skied by this lake in my youth a couple times. But in the summer, I don't think I've ever swam in this lake. But in my mind I had. So there you go. It looks just wonderful. I can't wait to taste its waters and get in there. Oh boy, am I blessed. Do I ever feel blessed? I am blessed, and I feel that way. Even though I only feel 70% because I didn't sleep well last night, but that's because of the spicy chili and my dog in my sleeping bag. Oh, here we go, the honest reveal. Just spotted it, Finnegan. So, this cabin here was built by Ben Dane, and he was studying the habits of the mountain goats up on this range, up over in those mountains. And he did that for 30 summers up here. And all I know is a bear got in here. It's kind of worse than I remember, actually. Maybe I'll just sleep under a spruce tree. Yeah. Brought some screen, but not that much. We're on the little creek here. And to make this home base, do some hiking from here. Some fishing, but the goats that Ben Dane was studying were up on that ridge. And tragically, I believe everything, all his footage, videos and pictures were lost in a fire. And he was a professor at the University of Boston, something like that. Tried to get a hold of him, but I couldn't. Still alive as far as I know. Okay, let's open this up, have a look. All right, finally got some bug spray on me and the dog. He's not happy about that. Anyway, oh look. Still a stove here. And some lumberjack syrup. Feels full. No best before on that. 54 ounces of lumberjack syrup. It's fake syrup made from sugar, water, corn syrup, imitation maple flavor. Okay, so the bear made a big mess. There's a saw here that's fantastic. The stove is pooched. There's a giant hole to fix over here. There's some empty tins. Some sleeping pads. I can make this work. I like this. I like this project. Seal off the bug holes, step number 1. You don't like that bug spray, hey Finn? It's just citronella. It's a nice little stove, but it's absolutely full of ash. But it's got a nice little feeding tray there, so that you can, you know, adjust your settings there. We'll get this all cleaned out, put some new river sand down in the bottom, and put in a new stovepipe. There's like lots of stuff here. So like, I'm not too worried about being able to make a nice new stovepipe on here. Cap it up top so the water doesn't drop down. You don't want to do that. You don't want rain, you know, for the 364 days you're not here in a year, or 360. You don't want rain going down into your heater, rotting it out, rust. Starting to look a little better in here. We're getting somewhere. There's a lot of sweeping. Finnegan can do an explore now. Finnegan can do an explore. All right, she's on her maiden voyage. Little Finnegan's asleep in the sleeping bag somewhere. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. And all cleaned out. We'll get her rolling here. She's not exactly that airtight. I don't like this whole mess here. I'll have to move all that back. Like, you got your tin cans separating your wood stove from your wood. And then, of course, we need some flashing up in there. But now it's time to fix the holes in the walls, which are fairly abundant. And the door is a mess. And hopefully by tonight, we're in good shape. I cut away a whole bunch of branches off that tree to make that safer than it was. I might have to cut the whole tree down. Man, there was stovepipe here. There was a damper. There's axes. There's what's left of the bear cache that the bear destroyed. I haven't got into that yet. But yeah, it's time to clean everything up. Make a big burn pile, get rid of the crap. And she'll be good as new till the next time a bear breaks in. Here's a doozy. Freeze-dried strawberries, cut and formed. Ingredients, strawberries and sugar. Unopened. This could have been here a long time. I'm starting to get some progress here. We're burning the paint off the stovepipe. Fixing the pieces. The big bad one is still over here, which I'm working my way towards it. That's where the bear went in. But man, there's screen here, stovepipe here. There's nails here, a hammer. There's even tin snips to make the cover for the stovepipe. So that's phenomenal. This place will last for another couple years without any major retrofit. This plywood though is toast. Like, it's practically crumbles in your hand. So I'm going to put a new screen on the windows because they have hinges and they go in. Because why not? That's how it was. I just pulled the old screen off. Progress. Had to take some off the bottom of the door so that it could close. And then it kind of turned into a mess in here again because I found a whole big rat's nest of crap up in here. So it's like some lovely little winter animals had their home on this emergency stretcher. But we're getting her patched up. Now these are a doozy. Wilson certified beefsteaks, freeze dry. with separate packet of seasoning. Needs no refrigeration. That might be something a guy has to try. Add steaks to water, allow to stand for 5 minutes. That's pretty neat. I'll put that with the freeze-dried strawberries. Oh, remind me why you should buy Bitcoin. Let's see. 1985, 10,000 bucks gets you a brand new convertible. A sophisticated European design. If only there was a deflationary asset, eh? That your money, which is your time, doesn't erode so frickin' fast. Something you could send around the world in seconds would be nice too. Something that's immutable, non-confiscatable. I don't know. Hope somebody comes up with something. Wink, wink. Well, slow and steady wins the race. Little Finnegan is kind of moody. He's under the mosquito net. And we got, look at these. These windows have hinges and they attach. So I put new screen on the outside of both of them. There's one more to do. Yeah, the screen was here. The hinges still worked. Fixed the door. Put a thing down there. That wood. Still needs a little work. This stove, I didn't cook on this stove. I cooked on that one. This stove still had pressure in it. I'm having trouble making it work. But judging by the amount of these things that are here, there's really, might be one of those things that just goes. So I'll pull the old, take it apart, put it back together. But yeah, so some counter spaces and floors and table stuff to do, and we're getting there. But it's probably 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I haven't really eaten today other than a little tiny nibble of jerky. So all these pots and pans are here too. To get to them, there's a big giant thing of pure lard here that isn't opened yet. Not sure what a guy can do with that. Maybe oil your boots or something at this point. Some moose horns up there. Alright. Well, there's the difference between your jack pine cones or lodgepole and your white pine. So these are big and beautiful. I climbed a tree last night. Stupid of me, but squirrels got most of them. Anyways, little bacon. It's 7:30. Another rough sleep. I don't know why, man. I don't know why. But she's a beauty of a day. And we'll finish cleaning up the cabin a little bit. And still have to deal with all this pandemonium garbage. I don't want to burn it, but it needs to be burned. Maybe I have to bury it, break it all down. I don't know. But yeah, I got some screens on the windows. I got a blah, blah, blah. Right now I'm going to have a cup of tea and eat some bacon. Oh, stove works like a charm. Found a couple receipts. And it looks to me last time somebody was in here, that is on paper, is 2001 and 2002. But that doesn't really mean anything. Nice little bone collection here. A little altar. There's some couple different pieces of quartz. And there's a good old-fashioned marine flare gun. And some beauty flares, which may or may not explode in the gun if you tried to shoot them. good book collection. And yeah, some very strange foodstuffs. We located another mystery can, a freeze-dried meat-included vegetable stew, and the rest of that stuff's mine, I guess. Lots of bugs. When they come in this country. So we're way up here, almost at tree line, and the red tops, they're pumping good. There's some beauties in here. There's like no way you could ever get these out. It's just, it would have to be a helicopter operation. But they do crawl down, you know, down, down, down. So where you get to some spots that are a little more accessible. But yeah, like I said, timing them at some road access, that's the tricky part. I'm gonna hike into this lake at the base of this mountain here, do a little fishing. I know there's fish there. I've never fished there. Lots of bugs. Lots of bugs. Hey Finnegan, beautiful day. Beautiful day. Feeling blessed. What are you gonna do with that? You don't know what to do. Hey, you big bad hunter, you. You don't know what to do. Okay. He can grow into a bigger fish. That's what he can do. There, he's gone. But we did get a nice one. Well, the fishing's amazing. The scenery is spectacular. All right, found a mother load of pine nuts, white pine cones. Just the tops of these trees, I don't know how well it comes through in the camera, but just in this one little area, they're loaded, like a squirrel forgot. And it's not far from the cabin. I'm just on my way back. You can probably see the gleam down there. That's the cabin. So I've got all these fish in my backpack, but I'm gonna stop and do a traditional roast, see what happens. Tomorrow I'm gonna hike up there, all the way up along there, down and around. Somewhere on one of these ridges out there is where Ben Dane, the guy who built this cabin, found an old musket, what was left of a broken musket up there. And I guess probably what happened is it was a common trading rifle. He had it brought back and analyzed, and First Nations would have been up here hunting something, or I mean I assume it was First Nations, and then the rifle broke, and it's no good to you up here broken, whether the stock's broken or you need a, I don't know, you know how it went back then. It was cheap, you didn't know how to fix it, it became garbage. So it was all bleached in the sun up on one of these ridges. So many treasures. If a guy only knew. Wonder whatever happened to that gun. Let's see what we can do with pine nuts. Alright, so we got a nice little bit of coals. Got a couple cone turning forks. Now this one I roasted, it just looks like a burnt pine cone. So I'm thinking this is too hot a roasting. Maybe just like in a Dutch oven, or, well, I mean, let's assume you didn't have any of the conveniences. You would pull the coals out of here, put the, you know, like a pit roast, put the cones in, put some stones over it, put some dirt over that, come back in the morning sort of thing. We'll see. Well, that's pretty exciting. I just started pulling this one apart, this burned one. And you can see these pine nuts in there. It's crunchy. It's sweet. Yeah, so that'd be like a fresh pine nut. Once roasted, well, tiny pine hint of pine. Not in the first one, but it might have been some sap on my forceps. All right, in conclusion, meaty, substantial amount in there, mostly near the top. Amazingly good, just burnt in a campfire. Totally adequate survivor food. And I feel like they might be immature still in there. So like, maybe if a guy later in the season, and you'd have to rob squirrels at that point. Roasted them up. I don't know, maybe like if the cones go longer in the fire, you know, really kind of bake them. Maybe they really need to be baked and dried out. I'll find out. But if this is the last on the pine nuts, it's a yes. And like some trees, man. Look at the top of this tree here. There's totally a meal in that tree. Plus there's a meal in every other tree around here. There's like a couple days of food right here within 50 feet. If you had to like stay here and eat pine nuts. Man, I'm tired. That dog, because after the hike in here, he slept so hard at like 3 o'clock until I went to bed at 10, and then he was all restless all night. Well, he doesn't sleep on his own very well. Good company, but pain in the butt, same time. And there you have it. I'll cook this one and eat this one, and I'll bread and fry another one, and the rest I'll build a smoker. Some sugar I found that was laying around. Making a brine. Found some old tea bags. So black tea, sugar, some salt. Maybe some pine needles, I don't know, some kind of spice. And anyway, I'm starving, I'm gonna eat this. Oh, this is pretty neat. Just coming up through this, just hiking around. It's getting kind of late. I see this kind of white mass. This is it's the quartz outcropping, which is wonderful. I mean, it's beautiful. It's just pure quartz. I think I'll bring home a stone from here. I've been calling it Martin Basin. Finnegan's been hunting the little whistlers. They go, Finnegan goes and tries to get some. Long ways back to the cabin. I'm gonna hike up in here and sleep or rest or something with a tarp by that rock at the tip of my finger. And then maybe hike up into this bowl, down, way up that valley. So stunning up here. I just feel closer to God. I love it. If I don't make it out of here and my camera gets found, I died a happy man, and I love you all. Okay, the last newspaper I found up here was 1991, and it's 2021, halfway through it right now. And then the other thing I found was a receipt from 2007. So that means, you know, somewhere between 30 and 19 years, stuff's been sitting up here. Dry milk powder, pretty ravaged cocoa powder, and then that big hunk of sugar we found. So this is a hot chocolate in memory of Ben Dane, made with these things. Because I know he was quite the sweet tooth. I find weird hidden bags of sugar all over this place. They're all rock hard, but... And lots of dry milk powder. So a couple things of cocoa were around. So cocoa, milk powder, sugar. I think he liked his cocoa. Anyway, nice little... Here's a nice little bacon and beans for the dad and the dog. The dad and the dog. For me and the dog. It's still a bit too hot, Finnegan. Getting pretty tired. The old hip flexor at 43. They're doing 8-hour hikes, 9-hour hikes every day. Just kind of limping along here. You probably can't hear a goddamn thing I'm saying. Anyways, find a spot to have a snack up ahead, try to get a view. And I'll head back, I think, up on the other side. Not over the top, just at the brush line. Let's go get a view here, Finnegan. Let's go get a view. So you could hike down here. I'm way down there at the bottom. It's either the Mathco or Clean River. Can't remember. No end to the wilderness if you kept heading this way. Well, it's not true. Eventually, you'd never make it, but eventually you'd come to Vancouver. I promised you, ptarmigan. Go get him. Go get him. Okay. Whoa. Good. Oh, we're on our way back from the last epic hike here. I think tomorrow will just be a putter around day, and then the next day we'll hike out. This looks like a great hike I'd like to do with you, Michelle. I'm going to call it the Sleeping Dragon. This is his tail, and you hike up the ridge and all along the back of his spine up to the top of his head or whatever. He's kind of resting. There's a paw. There's the head kind of looks like a sleeping dragon. Let sleeping dragons lie? We're not going to wake them up. Anyway, we went way up in there and beyond. And then up under that cornice on the way back. And then, yeah, anyway. That's stunning. Beautiful weather. Lots of bugs. There's fish in the river, which is amazing. I saw them this morning when I went for a swim. But I'm not a huge fan of eating fish. I ate some the other night. Even Finnegan didn't eat the fish skin, for God's sakes. Fried in bacon grease. He didn't eat the fish skin. What kind of a dog is that? I'm just kind of limping along here. A little overextended myself last couple days. It's probably about 6 o'clock. Be home by 9 or 8. Depends how it goes. Stunning though. Just checking out this hike. In this bowl here is where I went yesterday for half a day up in there. Pretty neat up in there. That's what I call Marmot Basin because there's whistling marmots. The only place I've seen them so far. And then you can't see, but right in there is a pyramid rock. There's a big ass rock that looks like a pyramid. But okay. Come on, buddy. It's not that far now. We're through that crappy stuff. Kind of avoided a lot of the... I had to go side hill across this mountain over here because I've been trying to keep a little short-legged dog out of this buckbrush. I don't want to be in it either, but the things you do for love. Oh, and I guess I could point out that the way out of here is, well, I'll show you. We're just coming up to that vista. So, down in the valley there is where I'm staying, in that little cabin of Ben's. You hike up to that lake, then you go skirt all the way along down, and right at that, where this comes together with that, it drops down, and that's where the car is. Oh, came up over the ridge here, and good view of the fires. Burning away. There's a bigger area of interest behind this knob that you can't see. You can kind of see the smoke from it. Oops. Almost stepped on Mr. Finnegan. And such a trooper, man. This dog, such a big spirit and such a small body. It's an incredible hiker, man. Like, incredible. I don't know. It's the only dog I've had. And this is the lake here that we're down rowing around in fishing. Definitely not hiking up there. I don't mean today, I just meant I was thinking about going up and around this lake. But let's have a look-see here. Yeah. So many beautiful bluebells. Bluebell season in the Alpine. Well, how about that? This is where we are, Finnegan. Up here on the snow. Well, this is a neat spot. Don't go too close to the edge, Finn. You'll make Michelle's stuff tingle. Wow, that's beautiful. So, we gotta go up over and then we can drop down from there to the cabin. Alright, so I came back a day or so later, dug them up. Conclusion is that they're just too immature. Okay, they're in there, but they're not tasty. There's not really anything to them. This kind of a not so hard outer shell. I think they need time, as I said before, to like develop the internal nut. So I guess that means late July. Mid-July, late July is not the time up here. A guy I'll have to try again in September, and again, that'll be probably find squirrel caches and raid some that aren't eaten type of an affair, because I can't imagine there'll be any left on trees. It's an amazing food source, man. These nuts this big on these white pine. If you were a squirrel, why would you live anywhere else? It's not nap time yet. We still gotta limp ourselves down this hill. Come on. So it's 7:30 at night-ish. Me and dog are very sore, moving very slowly. Just coming through the pines here. Probably only 15 minutes away from the cabin now. But there's nothing wrong with the world, man. You know, things are the same up here as they've been for hundreds of years. There's nothing wrong with the world. And yeah, we're in a warming cycle. We've had those before. And ice ages and all the rest of it. So we're just moving quietly through the timber. Bird song, some kind of Stellar's jay or something. The final leg of the journey here. I gotta focus. I don't want to have to take an extra step today. So in the kindling box for feeding the stove over there, I found that 1991 Williams Lake Tribune paper. Shout out to Brenda Shaughnessy for winning. Well, you led the race at some point anyway. And Della Boyd took home a trophy, and look who that is. That's my sister Sally. Sally Whitehead. Sitting on a piece of paper all the way up here in the mountains. And that's because the Tatla Lake and Risky Creek kids are up there. Heather Phil from Tatla Lake won the girls' trophy. Way to go, Heather. How about that? 1991, it's ladies' night at Mickey's Cabaret. Head on down. So it's about 9:30. I should be reading a book in bed. I'm pretty sore, but these fish have to get dealt with. So they soaked in brine water, which was black tea bags from 30 years ago, sugar from 30 years ago, and some fish seasoning that I brought up here, which had some salt, had some MSG in it. Hoping that's enough. Built a tripod-ish thing. Wired a piece of screen on there, wired it up here. Now I'm just kind of burning everything out, letting that galvanized steel mesh get cooked off, and start a nice bed of coals. And I will wrap this with some junk canvas that's laying around here. And then I'll just have a low smoky fire. And I'll just kind of feed it once in a while from here. I'm thinking, I know willow can give you the shits. So I'm thinking buckbrush. Don't know the Latin on this. But it's not going to be willow, and it's not going to be pine. And it's not going to be balsam fir, so buckbrush it is. No alder up here. I haven't seen any. Mind you, I haven't really been looking, but I would have spotted it. Okay, I gotta get these fish dealt with so that I can crawl into my sleeping bag and my dog can relax. He barks at me when I'm not in there. Yes, there were scissors here too. Now this old moth-eaten thing, unfortunately, it actually burns pretty good. And that's a problem, right? Because it'll be wrapped around this thing, and there'll be no flames in there, but the spark could get it. So I'm still gonna do it. It's some kind of wax coating on there, I guess. But what I'm going to do is I'm only gonna smoke while I'm here. I'm not gonna like go for a wander and leave things smoking, because it could just go up. But it's a nice big open area. Don't really have any other options, sort of 2 old moth-eaten pillowcases. That'll burn too. I have a plastic tarp. That would work and doesn't burn per se. I guess I'll check that. Okay, so you got your buckbrush, Latin name Buckus bruchus, and your coals are almost ready to add the buckbrush in there. Fish are up here. It's gonna be a hot smoke, obviously. And then we wrap it up. See what happens. Okay, I think the fire is still too hot. I think what'll happen is this buckbrush, although it's green, will end up lighting on fire. Good news, the smell of the smoke is really quite nice. It's like, it's almost reminiscent of tobacco. Anyway, it's sweet, tobacco-esque. I think I made a good call there. If somebody wants in the comment section, here's a leaf for you. Okay, they're alternating. And again, here's the plant. I know I've looked it up before. Okay, still a bit hot in there, I think. Yeah, it wants to go. So we're going to choke off the oxygen. I'm going to shovel some dirt around the edge there so no oxygen can get in. Okay, it worked. It's working really well, in theory. I've got most of the oxygen choked off. Just enough on the double seam where it can escape. My fear here is that, you know, that stuff smokes for a while and then eventually ignites. And if that happens, well, up goes your tent, up goes your fish, up goes everything. This is going to be really well smoked. So I might just stay up for a couple hours, read a book. Sun's already going down. I'm not tired anyway. I mean, emotionally. Emotionally, I'm jazzed. I just love it. This is so effing cool. I just love it. I'm just having such a good time. I feel so good up here. My God, what was I doing in the city? Not that I spent all my time in the city, but the Alpine where there's no people and you got history and stories and some guy found an old rifle up on that ridge, like, whoo! And I think I mentioned there's fish in the creek, saw them this morning, so I'll do a little fishing if this works tomorrow. Tidy everything up, put that rain protector thing on, flashing around the stovepipe, and tidy everything up. Alright, I'm going to swat bugs for a few hours and then open this up and shovel some dirt on it and let it be dead for the night. I'll just relax here and read a book while it smokes. Pretty relaxing. Jesus. Yeah, I found this old cot. A rodent has stolen all of the down out of it, out of the nestled down-filled cot. I didn't have a chair, so I thought I'd lay here. Holy Toledo berries. Jumping Jesus on a pogo stick. Man, I haven't been able to get like I get a page, nope. I get a word. I get 3 words. 2 words. Okay, I won't read. I'll just lay here and pontificate in peace. So it worked out really well. I just flipped them over, and at this point, you could eat them. I am going to dry them out. What do you see? Fearless wonder dog of the mountains. Did a leaf move in the wind? Anyways, I'm going to dry them out and take the skin off, take the bones out, and then make them like kind of dry so I can travel with it. See how that works. But yeah, flesh is good. Alright, so I picked all the meat off the bones, threw the carcasses in the creek there, because it's still too wet to say transport through the mountains and the hills with. So, weather permitting, I'm going to dry it out here on the screen. Not with a fire, because it's, I'd say, perfectly smoked and everything. It just needs to be dried out. So, now, you'd want to make sure that flies don't land on it all day. So, I mean, this has got a bunch of holes and stuff, and I found it in the cabin, but I'm going to drape it over so that, the flies and mosquitoes, you're not eating smoked mosquito. Okay, we can go. Let's go. Let's go. Happy dog running through the wildflowers. I'll go find this trail. The old original trail that came in here. Yeah, let's go find the trail. Found part of the old trail here. Some beauty red tops. Wow, these are really nice and firm. Big, beautiful. I'll grab these on the way back. I'm running out of battery on this camera and I've already used my booster, but smoked salmon and fried mushrooms for dinner. These ones, I only like them dry. You can get sick off them if you eat too much of it, or if they're undercooked. So because I don't really have much to eat, I'm not going to just live off pure mushrooms and a bit of smoked fish, but they'll make a nice addition. Lexinium boreal. This might be another little one popping up in there. Yeah, there's a beauty. Okay, right on the trail too. There's fish here, you can see them. They're just not interested in what I have to offer. I don't know if it was just one of those get lucky right beside the cabin type of affairs, but I haven't found any more since those beautiful 5 little ones. These guys. Some valerian root in there off to the right side. See if it'll settle me in for a coma-like sleep. Oh, I'd just given up. Said, let's go fishing. And what do we see under this tree? Some beauties. Squirrels having some bites. It's good. We'll just take one of these. That'll be enough for me and the dog. You like mushrooms? Fried in bacon grease?